Welcome back to the original, the best, the one, the only CommentSlam with your poets, Jam Master Jeff and K-Pop.
What up, homies?
Now, the reason, folks, that I bring up the original and the best is maybe you've seen other videos where they just read comments back and forth, but one of our favorite internet nerds who likes to wear Star Wars capes and run around like a child has kind of ripped us off. Jeremy Johns is now doing a Tales from the Comments section video conveniently after CommentSlam has been rather successful for our channel. So I like to think that bigger channels have their eye on us and like to steal some shit. Joe Cronin, we know you're doing it too, because I watch your videos and I heard you talking about it. So anyway.
Unoriginal bastards.
Yeah, let's talk about something good. Something they can't do a CommentSlam video on. Our shit. So, we had a couple people say, you guys should read World Class Bullshitters comments. Well, tonight we're going to do that. We're going to read the comments of our newest video, Star Wars vs. Star Wars, How Will The Last Jedi Do Against The Force Awakens. It's got a huge thumbs up to thumbs down ratio, 245 thumbs up, 8 thumbs down, 8, so that's awesome. We're almost to 3,000 views in about 36 hours, and we got 267 comments. Obviously, we're not going to read them all, but because our fans like to hear their name said, you have a better chance of hearing your name brought up on this episode. So, it's a commentception. We read the comments on a comment, and then we comment back, and then you can comment back, and it can just keep the chain rolling and rolling. So, without any further ado, let's start this week's episode of CommentSlam. So, Kendo, do you have any pulled up, or do you want me to start?
Oh, I got one right here that is actually pertinent to this channel because it's a comment that relates to stuff about this channel that's helped this channel like boom over the last few months. John O'Donohue says, I just went to Kmart and saw a ton of Star Wars figures on clearance. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm assuming they're the new ones. I know going to the store, I've seen lots of the Last Jedi merchandise out there in the for sale, however many % off bins already.
Mike Kroger has a little selection of Star Wars toys, and they've just been sitting there. And I know a lot of people on my Star Wars video like to say, oh, you don't understand this and understand that. Look, I do understand how the waves work. And I actually spoke to a lot of people because I didn't really get clearance to film in any of these stores. I just kind of did it. So I'm not going to really, get the okay from these people. But I did speak to people as I bought stuff and checked out of the store, and they said they haven't really moved a lot. And these were managers and employees that had been there for quite a while. So I know everyone wants to give these Star Wars toys the benefit of the doubt. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You just don't understand. No, I do understand. At my local Toys R Us this weekend, they had that new big play set on sale. It was $20 off. So, yeah, it's a sale, but still, Hasbro, you're overpricing your shit. Like, if you really want people to get invested in your brand, you gotta lower the price, because the quality's been lowered, so you gotta lower the price to match that. Okay, this one comes from Midway 1942. I'm more excited to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 Story Mode. I mean, I think the last story-driven Star Wars game was The Force Unleashed 2. Midway, I would be excited for that game if it wasn't for EA's loot box fiasco and their pay-to-win market strategy. So, as a consumer who does enjoy Star Wars-based stuff, I will not be giving my money personally to EA because I don't support their practices. So, enjoy it if you like it, but in this household, we'll be playing WWE 2K18 and Metal Gear Solid 5 for a while.
There you go. This comment comes from Pupper. I like Pupper.
I do too.
He's commented on a lot of our stuff. I think the name's great. And I like the picture of the dog. I hope it's his dog. It looks kind of like that Benji dog. I'm not going to get onto my love of Benji as a child. But anyway, Pupper says, music, films, games, sports, comic books. It's all shit. Cultural Marxism has ruined everything. He's not wrong. The majority of people are indifferent to Star Wars. Only a loud minority of subversives who don't actually like Star Wars, but see it as an opportunity to push their agenda, defend Disney. I've kind of noticed a bit of that too. Like, just about anytime you see somebody like really just going balls to the wall for Disney, it's usually a left-leaning to somebody like a Jeremy Johns or somebody like that where their politics lie without them telling you.
Yeah. I mean, I do enjoy Pupper's comments always, but this one I saw it right away, and I did appreciate it because it's not... Okay, I don't mean to sound conspiratorial, but I feel like we live and they live, where like we all have the sunglasses on and everyone else is just like, oh, we don't want to wear the sunglasses and see it. It's like, how do you not see it? It's at this point, it's a choice not to see these things. It's not like I'm reading between the lines and, you know, going deep into it and I sound crazy. It's just kind of basic. Here's the thing, fans. Literally every complaint I ever had about The Force Awakens came from one viewing. All that shit I remembered. I didn't go back and watch it a bunch. Because a lot of people are telling me, they're coming out of the woodwork, especially in this video comments, we'll get to it in a second. They're going on, oh man, you know, I loved The Force Awakens the first time I saw it, and then I watched it again and I realized how shitty it was. Not to sound like a hipster, but I hated it the minute I saw it. I walked out of that theater upset, and you can listen to that review still. Almost to 60,000 listens. So a lot of people have heard me say that shit. I can't lie when it was uploaded to YouTube. And let's get to the next comment. So this is a long-standing one. It's not long-standing, but this is a long, drawn-out one. I'm going to read it, and we're going to get into it. So this comes from Local Nerd. To start, I do agree that The Last Jedi is less hyped. Before The Force Awakens came out, most people knew about it. They didn't know much, but they knew a new Star Wars was coming out. Just last week, I was talking to someone about The Last Jedi, and a friend joined in our conversation and said, wait, they're making another Star Wars? I do understand why The Last Jedi is being less hyped, simply because of the fact that The Force Awakens was the first Star Wars movie in 10 years. Anyhow, I just watched The Force Awakens again last night, and I disagree with you that this was a soulless money grab for the most part. This movie took a lot of time and went out of the way to make tangible sets, creatures, and environments. See, right there, Local Nerd, they got you. They duped you with that. Because if you notice, the entire narrative of The Force Awakens marketing was real sets, practical effects, Harrison Ford, original cast. It wasn't about giving us this new take on the Star Wars universe. It was literally, we're just going to replicate those things to tug at your heartstrings. Back to the comment. Technically, every movie is just made for money, but this one still had some hard work to go into it. Well, by your account, every movie then still had hard work into it, so it doesn't make this any more special. You can shit on a Michael Bay Transformers movie, but there are a lot of man-hours, thousands of man-hours that go into those special CGI effects. So if we're going to defend one piece of shit, we're going to defend other pieces of shit. And this movie wasn't trash either. Rewatch it and be open to have fun. See, I was open. I did watch it again. Local Nerd, go join our Patreon for $1 a month. You can listen to the commentary and you can hear a beat by beat reaction to why I don't like the movie. It's not that I dislike fun. I dislike stupidity. I don't gloss over stupid shit just because of the sake of fun. You know, Superman 3 is a fun movie to me, but it still sucks in many ways, and I'm not going to just gloss over because I loved Christopher Reeve as Superman. I'm going to be honest with it. That's really the crux of this channel, honesty. And to close out his comment, you'll realize that it's not a complete copy of the movie. Yes, it is. I never even thought that it was a huge copy until after I read about it being a copy after I saw the film. Watch it again and hopefully you like it. But if not, that's okay too. Hopefully The Last Jedi is better. Jedi is better for everyone. Can't speak. Jedi better. Bleh. I have watched it again,
Just
like I
having
said.
a stroke.
Yeah, blah, 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 Halloween candy. Ooh, I've been spiked. I've been poisoned by my constituencies. No, I liked this comment a lot, and I waited to give this guy a response because I knew we were going to do this video, and I wanted him to be able to hear. If he does watch this video, I wanted him to hear my direct response verbally. Because this week we have the Thor Ragnarok the Thor Ragnarok film review. You're not going to be able to get this kind of interaction with the fans. So this was like the perfect week to do this. So sorry to take up 5 minutes, folks, but Kendo, back to you.
Brian Lape says, by the way, he's anus. It's just you. The rest of us are so hyped for this movie, we've shipped our pants. It will haul in 50% than TFA. My question is twofold. Number one, where have you shipped your pants to, Brian?
Morocco.
And secondly, it will haul in 50% than TNA. Are you saying more than 50%? Less? I guess my question is, did you comment right after you did a shitload of beer reviews?
During.
Yeah, or during, because that second sentence is just like, it will haul in 50% than TFA. It's like,
Lape really has gone full anus.
Yeah, he is going full anus. Folks, don't be like Brian. Don't ever go full anus. He's gone full on Lape is anus. By the way, those shirts might be available soon.
Yeah, I kind of want to make a Leip Azana shirt, but I want to ask him because I don't want to hurt his feelings.
I think he'd be okay with it.
Well, that's the one time I'm going to check with someone to make sure they're cool with it, because I do like Brian. He's a nice guy. I've met him just once, but I've talked to him online a bunch, so I don't really want to alienate him by like making him think they really hate me, because it's just a joke. But
I don't think he would actually think that. I talk to him a lot, and you've heard me on the Fancast just ripping him apart, and yet we still get along really, really well. So
I love how you rip him apart.
I think he's kind of like all of our. He's like the scary uncle of the world class bullshitters. Okay, he's the guy that just kind of hangs out in the basement, drinks a bunch, and he's kind of cool, but he's also really nerdy, and you won't want your friends to see you hanging out with him.
Fair enough. This comes from.
We do like you, Brian. Just we do like you.
Same here. Leip Azanus for life.
That's right.
This comes from Half-Eaten Media. I'm finding it very difficult to find old Luke Skywalker Black Series action figures. However, there is an overabundance of Rey, Finn, and Poe figures. Well, Half-Eaten Media, the reason is those new characters suck dick. Also, if you're ever desperate for a Black Series Luke Skywalker, I kind of know how to get some, so respond back and we can work something out on PayPal. See, World Class Bullshitters will also help you find action figures if you need them.
I'm trying to find a really nice one. GE Next 7 says, I shit today and it looked like a lightsaber.
I was reading this one too.
Was it glowing? Because if so, you might want to have to check out where you live.
You have cancer if your shit glows.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
There might be some radon leakage in your house or something. Especially if the thing, like, is when you're shitting, does it go when it comes out, and then when you flush it,
does it react with the water?
Yeah. Dayglow shit.
The circle is now complete.
Brought to you by Chemical Waste.
Matt Millstore. The Force Awakens was a complete trash movie, in my opinion, and I am completely mind-boggled by the people who liked it. Now, I think his icon, though, is Kylo Ren. So, I don't know if he's trolling us.
I don't know. Because I got one here that I don't know if it's trolling us or sarcastic.
Is it the Viver?
No, it's Trembling Bluster.
Oh, what's that one say?
I think it will do 1 to 2 trillion tops.
I think that's a pretty conservative estimate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope that's the case. I mean, the dude's got a really cool ginger-looking cat in his picture. So people that own cats like that or have owned like cats like that tend to have a really good sarcastic sense of humor and are beloved by thousands of the unwashed masses.
Let's see, this comes from Wolfman at Large. Because Hollywood is so good at emotional manipulation, The Force Awakens seems like a great movie the first time you watch it. But the minute you get home and start to think about it, the regret sets in and you start to pick that massive turd apart. I expect the same from this new movie. 2 hours of turn off my brain, look shiny things excitement, then 6 months of binding nerd rage and soul-crushing despair as I weep for what could have been. Well said. I'm giving that a heart.
Yeah, good for him.
That
name is cool.
Yeah. His icon's pretty neat, too. He's got a little wolf.
Albedo Tennyson says, more people talked about Attack of the Clones after its release than The Last Jedi. Well, there's a reason for that. The Last Jedi hasn't been released yet.
Plus, Attack of the Clones gave us the Yoda fight, which I know many argue Yoda shouldn't fight, and I'm one of those people. But at least it was something memorable and cool and different.
Right. I am also in the Yoda doesn't need to bust out the saber and be flippity-flappity-floopity-doo all over the place, even though it did look pretty damn cool. That might have been a haiku, just on the spot.
Those are the best kind.
Incidental.
Let's see, this comes from Chris Tuffer. So, Christopher. I'm going to see how much more they can actually ruin the character of Luke Skywalker. Let's get this right. Luke Skywalker is the Batman, Spider-Man, Superman of Star Wars. My childhood inspiration. This character needs to be treated with the utmost respect and reverence. He was shit upon in the last film, all to make the new dislikable and annoying cardboard cutout characters supposedly better, and to force them into public conscious. Fuck that. Treasure this character Kennedy film because it's all you have left in this destroyed franchise. Boom. Fuck you, Kathleen.
That guy needs to change his name to Enola Gay because he just nuked Japan. That is Kathleen Kennedy.
Boom. Oh, Kendo, take it away, sir.
Brock Noakley says Ray Porkins is my favorite character ever.
I saw that one.
I the real question is, would Jack Porkins eat Ray Porkins?
Out, yes.
Ooh. Both are bad options. Both are very bad
That's
options.
why Porkins just crashed into the Death Star. The problem he had was thinking of Ray. I got a problem here. Jack, I can hold it. No.
Obi-Wan's Force Ghost just kind of, he went to like try to help Luke use the Force and like hit Red 6 on accident first and was like, shit, wrong ship. And he just like was like, boom. And he just gave him like a real quick, like 30 years in the future, this is what's going to happen. And then he just immediately saw his face in that sandy, full, crazy desert bush and was just like, that's it. Bang. I'm out of here.
Well, Obi-Wan as a consolation prize hooked him up and brought him into the Force realm so he can go to Force KFC all the time. So Porkins is living a good life on the other side.
I hope so, because I always felt bad for Jack Porkins, because, I mean, it had to be really cramped in that X-Wing when you're that big.
Yeah.
It'd be like putting you in like one of those little hot rods.
Yeah, I'm not going to drive it because I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go fight a space station. Let's see. This comes from Poghost. I'm certainly not anywhere near as excited for this as I was with Force Awakens. With Force Awakens, I rewatched every trailer and teaser no less than 5 times per, and I even made my desktop a still of the 2014 teaser trailer shot of the X-Wing skirting over the surface of the lake. I was so ready it wasn't even funny. Then I saw the movie. Then I saw it again, and each viewing got worse than the last. All the problems I had with it sort of effortlessly made themselves apparent. Rogue One I thought was okay, as well as I do. Just okay. But considering the Star Wars under Disney so far has been a heavy thumbs down and one thumb sideways for me, it's hard for me to be excited for Episode 8. Even as someone who otherwise loves this franchise to death, even the dumb shit the prequels pull. Yeah. Poe, I've said it a dozen times, I'll say it probably till the end of time. Episode 7 made me appreciate the prequels.
Yeah, same here. It was one of those things that after watching Episode 7, it's like, wow, the prequels weren't really all that bad. And by prequels, I just mean mostly Episodes 1 and 2. Like 3, I've never really had that big of a problem with Episode 3 because I thought it was... I liked it when I saw it in theaters. I was like, all right, this isn't great, but it's not terrible. It's not Attack of the Clones. So...
I love how that's a running joke on our show now.
Yeah, it's not Attack of the Clones.
I kind of want to watch Attack of the Clones now, especially this fight over Coruscant and the speeder. That was cool.
I don't know. Maybe we should watch Maybe we should do the prequels for the patrons.
Oh, we'll do the prequels. Patrons, prequels are coming in December as the build-up for Episode 8 draws near. We will give you the prequel trilogy. So make sure you've joined the World Class Bullshitters Patreon because all of our exclusive Star Wars content never comes to YouTube.
Right.
Actually,
only $1
none
a
of
month.
the content. Actually, none of the content on Patreon's ever come to YouTube.
Not yet. For only $1 a month, you could starve or feed. You could feed a starving bullshitter.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? 5 of you could get us a hot and ready, and that'll feed us for like 2 days.
Yeah, I don't eat hot
So as the
and ready.
holidays draw near, I don't like them either.
They. I'm not going to get into what they do to my intestinal tract.
Well, Crazy Bread is where it's at for me.
True story. The Viver says, this channel and the rest of the people are crazy. Lol. Y'all are some weirdos. Okay, but at least we have good grammar.
I like to imagine that the Viver is the blue eagle from the Muppets in the Great Muppet Caper when they do the whole Happiness Hotel spiel and they're like all having a great time and he goes, "You are all weirdos!" And then he just closes the door. Like, that's what the Viver is to me, the eagle from the Muppets. So thank you for your time, Viver.
I agree.
Let's see here. Recut Hut. I believe Episode 8 will be one of the highest grossing movies of the year, if only because I've heard the numbers for most movies this year have disappointed. I'm not as excited for Episode 9. Click here to find out why. Afterwards, console yourselves with the original trilogy, or yes, even the prequels. Well, he left a link, and you can find the link in our comments. Recut Hut. That's a good assessment. I never said that I don't think it would make the most money of the year, because honestly, I didn't even follow a lot of box office stuff outside of whatever we were talking about for the show. We haven't really had... It has been the box office darling of the year, and the other movies have made more money than it. Guardians and Spider-Man were bigger hits. Wonder Woman was a bigger hit, but it made such a profit, and it was such a good movie, and no one expected it. Of course, Star Wars will make a lot of money, but my whole point was it'll make less than The Force Awakens by 20%.
Fun Miner 8 says, "You suck at life." Boom, Jeff. You have been roasted by the YouTubes.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know how I can handle... Okay, I'm just going to keep going on. So this comes from Bob Smithy. "I love how there's an ad for Star Wars toys before the video." Well, Bob, it's because this is a Star Wars themed video, and Star Wars ads will play on anything you type the word Star Wars into, Star Wars will pop up with ads. So I find it ironic that we get money from talking shit about Star Wars when the ads play over it. So thanks, Lucasfilm.
Another channel favorite, Racist White Shark, says, "The hype will die down after the first 2 weeks, but it will make a shit ton of money." Yeah, probably. "I just hope that they cast Adam Sandler for episode 9. That's the only way to redeem this trilogy. And Ray and Kylo need to die."
Yeah.
It's a fair assessment. Adam Sandler in a Star Wars movie would just be like mind-blowing. Be like, wait, why? What? What they could do is just Star Wars episode 9. It could be like that fucking movie he made where he played like all the characters or whatever it was.
Jack and Jill?
Yeah.
Ugh.
He could play Luke and Leia.
Just when I thought Star Wars couldn't get any dumber, Kendo has a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, this comes from Lightning Lord. "I wasn't hyped for The Force Awakens. Definitely not hyped skipping episode 8. Was shocked how anybody couldn't see how bad The Force Awakens was. Yep, Disney Star Wars is crap. I say it'll make 30% less in the $600 million range." Good estimate. I wanted to be a little more conservative because more people are going to come to here and be like, well, if it makes more, they'll be like, "Oh, you dumb motherfucker, blah, blah, blah." So if I pick a conservative 20% estimate, it's just better for my psyche.
Snoopy Rogue 3 says, "The Last Jedi will make less money and less people are excited. Bring George back." I agree that the Last Jedi will make less money, and I've said it for a while that my thoughts on it are the original Star Wars was a huge hit. And then 3 years later, The Empire Strikes Back only did about half of what, I think it was a little over half of what the original Star Wars did when adjusted for inflation. And then the Return of the Jedi did even less than that. So my estimate for what would happen, I think what was The Force Awakens was like, what, $975 billion or something like that?
Yeah, $750 billion, like enough to feed everybody in Africa for 20 years, but...
$1 million gajillion dollars.
Oh shit, Dr. Evil's jealous.
I think my prediction for The Last Jedi is opening weekend, we're probably going to look at like, what, 175, 200. Overall, I would say probably maybe crack 750. I don't think it'll outdo The Force Awakens.
So I'm saying opening weekend 140. I know that sounds low, but it's close to Christmas, and I get that The Force Awakens came out last time, but with less hype and Christmas being more important than a Star Wars movie less people are excited to see, I'm going, 140? That's my guess.
All right. Maybe that's what we should do for the show. Like we could all like bet on like we could do Price is Right rules, the closest without going over.
Ooh, I like it.
And then like whoever gets the furthest away, we have to do something. We'll give out their phone number on air or something.
We'll just give Phil's phone number out no matter who it is.
There you go. There we go.
He would be so pissed. He'd be like, "God damn it, stop calling!"
When the guy answers, say, "Where's your foot?"
I think Nick gave his phone number out during one episode by mistake. So, listeners, if you go listen through all of our episodes, there is one where Nick. Yeah,
he's got
Nick
a catalog.
The phone number. Yeah, he's been to his house twice. Samoa's a nice place this time of year. This comes from Spider-Man H122. World-class bullshitters. I think that in episode 7 they tried to reestablish the universe. We never got to know the characters of Rey and Finn. They wrote a lot of details in the books, but did not show this a lot in the film, which makes Rey and Finn seem like hollow characters. There could still be elements of 4 in Episode 7, but discussing how Starkiller Base works causes a major plot hole, since Kylo in the First Order should have been incinerated, since the weapon had to deplete a son of its energy fully. The less they would have talked about the Starkiller Base, the better. Well, Spider-Man, thank you for telling me that, but if we go by the old Star Wars movies, the ones everybody likes, you don't have to read any books to fill in. When you read Splinter of the Mind's Eye, you're reading Splinter of the Mind's Eye for fun. You watch Empire Strikes Back after A New Hope. You read the crawl. You know where the characters have been. You know that the Empire destroyed the base and they've been chasing down Luke Skywalker. Darth Vader's now obsessed with him. So it's the movie's job to tell you the story. We don't have time for a million crossovers and all this other shit. Like, if Star Wars was the only game in town, the books would be a bigger deal. But with the new canon being established, you've really turned off a lot of the... Okay, put it like this. Only a small amount of Star Wars fans read all these books. I love Star Wars movies. I can quote the movies with 90% accuracy. I've only read like 4 books. I just don't want to read those adventures. I like the audiobooks and stuff like that, and that's fun, but you can't make a movie for, you know, 1 billion people to watch and then expect 1 billion people to go out and pick up a book, because they're just going to go, oh, I didn't like the movie. They're not going to go, oh, I got to read the book, because they're not apologists. I'll never forget the first free comic book day I worked post Episode 7. This guy's like, oh, you need to read the book, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, to understand a fucking movie? No, it's the filmmaker's job to present me with 2 hours and change of solid, coherent story, not, oh, buy this product to get more out of it. No, fuck you guys. Like, I'm not spending more money.
Yeah. Jinx97 says, by the way, friend of the show, I was pissed when Han died, but after seeing the shitstorm Star Wars currently is, I don't blame Harrison for jumping ship first chance he got. Hopefully Mr. Hamill can get Luke killed next so they no longer have to make him do these shitty movies. I mean, if I go in to see Episode 8, which, by the way, we're going to see Episode 8. So if you're going to give a shit about this, because we have got, every time we talk about Star Wars, we get, oh, I bet you faggots are still going to go see Episode 8, you fucking dorks. We never said we weren't going to go see it. We were just saying we don't have high hopes for it. If I go in and Luke dies, I'm walking out. I'm going to be like, I'm done. I have no more interest in this movie franchise. I'm done. And that'll be it.
And here's the thing. We spend our time talking about this. If we didn't go see the movie, how could we be a credible source for our opinion? I mean, do you want me to tell you my thoughts on Star Trek Undiscovered Country? I've never seen it, but I can tell you how I think it's a terrible movie. You see how that doesn't work? There's a logic gap. It's like I can't accurately critique something without having experienced it. I can't skim it. I can't just think I've seen it or watch a trailer. I don't judge a movie on the trailer. When I judge this movie, I judge it based on what came before it and my lack of confidence in Disney's ability to give us something new and original. And then I judge the trailer on the elements that I've seen that basically reaffirm my pre-existing stance on this movie. So I have to experience all the entertainment to accurately tell you people. Like, you're here to hear us talk about Star Wars because we have a different slant. And that's how we give it to you. Sorry, we're going to watch this movie no matter what. So this comes from Mr. Pete 8680. I'm the 200th like. And you get your name read on air. So thank you, Mr. Pete.
Bob Smitty says, I love how there's an ad for Star Wars toys before this video. That's happened quite a bit. There's a lot of times where our videos have Star Wars ads before them, and I find it hilarious. And it's very ironic.
Let's see. Bobo Jimbo. After Rogue One, my expectations have been sufficiently lowered. The whole "the Jedi must end" thing doesn't really excite me. Knowing that Disney is SJW converged, that can't really be anything good. And then someone commented with, oh, the reply disappeared, so sorry.
Yep. Lol H9. I'm hyped for Solo, a dumpster fire. Reading the spoilers posted on T/TV/ I don't know if that's a website. It sounds like the Pest in space.
God damn! We'll talk about an obscure reference. I hated The Pest when I was a kid. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't believe I have.
John Leguizamo
Nope.
I hate that fucking movie with a passion.
Well, there we go. Solo, a Star Wars story, will be essentially the pest in space. So get your popcorn now and those IMAX tickets already.
Let's see. This comes from Ride the Lightning 117, who's a long-time listener of the channel. When I was younger, I jerked off to Princess Leia.
You're not the only one there, bud. I'm not going to speak for anybody else on this channel, but I'm sure it's occurred in probably 100% of the cases.
Dustin.
Oh yeah, 125% of the cases. Esperecto 11202. I would rather see fan fictions of Star Wars than The Last Jedi. I'm pretty sure that Episode 7 was a fan fiction. Not like legit, because I haven't read any of those, but just the way that movie played out, it seems like a 13-year-old girl wrote it. The chick that wrote My Immortal probably is the one that wrote The Force Awakens.
You mean Ebony, Dementia, Darkness, Raven Way?
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Ah. She truly is one of the greatest scribes of our time.
Yep, good old Ebony.
Yeah, Inubi is a well-written, fleshed-out character who will stand the test of time as one of the all-time great literary heroes. Atticus Finch, bullshit. James Bond, bullshit. The guy from Catcher in the Rye,
Amateur.
Bucky, what's his name? Bucky Holden McNeil, whatever.
Holden Caulfield.
Holden Caulfield. Holden McNeil's from fucking Mallrats.
Yes.
Or no, Chasing Amy.
He's from Chasing Amy and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I don't know where the hell Bucky Holden or whatever you came up with. Holden Caulfield's who you think of.
I was close enough. Yeah, Holden Caulfield.
Great book.
Written by J.D. Salinger. I do know a fucking name. There we go.
It's a good story.
We read it in high school. Yeah, but Ebony is better than all those. She is the Rey of the literary world. Truly great characters don't matter when this chick is on the scene.
That's right.
All right.
It's blood.
Yeah, she drinks blood. She wears black. People will be hearing about My Immortal relatively soon, so be on the lookout for that, fans. So this episode of Comment Slam has been a little longer, but I got the perfect one to close us out, Kendo. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So this comes from Mr. Culber. This is the best comment I think I've seen in a long time on any of our videos. I own this 3-disc DVD of this 1963 movie Cleopatra, and it included with the movie a documentary. In that documentary, one of the men involved in making the film makes an observation which I find pertinent to Star Wars. There are two misfortunes in life, not getting what you want and getting what you want. Many got what they want, Lucas out of the Star Wars franchise. Boy, does it hurt. Despite all of the mistakes he made in the prequels, I can enjoy them. The enjoyment I got from The Force Awakens was fleeting and shallow. When I entered the theater to watch the film 2 years ago, and it was packed, I wanted to go to a later showing, but that was already full. My first grievance was the cinematography. I keep hearing people lambaste Lucas's direction, but his use of the camera is without doubt superior to J.J. Abrams. Abrams moves the camera too much, and before the movie came out, I remember thinking that one of the scenes with the lens flares would be one scene too many. And of course, Abrams had to do that. Abrams also fails to understand how large space is, a cardinal sin for someone who's a fan of sci-fi. One should not be able to see the destruction of a planet on another world light years away. All you would have to do is have Leia feel a great disturbance when Hosnia Prime was destroyed. I didn't even know that was the name of the planet. And look up into the sky. Then she would see Hosnia's star and declare that she is now looking at a ghost or something like that. Which is actually a way better line than whatever's in the movie. People keep saying that the prequels don't look like Star Wars. Did The Force Awakens look like Star Wars? Did it have traditional wipes or old-fashioned camera techniques? Then you have the characters. Finn was the one with the most potential. We would see the story at least in part through a stormtrooper's eyes. But that would not be. Finn's actions made no sense. He had bungled too much. Oddly enough, the extraneous material tends to depict him as a super soldier. Abrams, it seems, fought hard to make sure that Finn was portrayed by a black man, and he came across as comic relief. Everyone had heard about Rey. Having her perform the Jedi mind trick and defeating Kylo was a huge mistake. Poe Dameron is superfluous. Most offensive to me, however, was the setting. In Star Wars Legends, you had the Imperial Remnant, which the New Republic was waging war against. With Abrams, we have the First Order and the Resistance, a clumsy attempt at replacing the David and Goliath tale of the original trilogy. Abrams stated that the First Order was like the Argentinian Nazis. I didn't recall any Argentinian Nazis fighting against a small rebel force in France with a Messerschmitt and Panther tank. I also heard that the concept artist had imagined a new fighter, but Abrams shot them down, wanting them to be the same as the old fighters from the original trilogy. So much could have been done, and worst of all was the elimination of the Jedi. Why? So much could have been done. So little was actually tried. I remember Chris Stuckman saying that The Force Awakens would stand the test of time, unlike the prequels, and yet I prefer the prequels to The Force Awakens. That's pretty much a bombshell in the comments.
Yeah, he threw a haymaker and it landed square.
Yeah, so Uncle Phil tried to comment back, but Mr. Colbert wins. So, Mr. Colbert, you get a thumbs up in the heart and all this other good shit. Thank you for taking the time to write that. I've read it about 3 times now, and I thought everyone that watches CommentSlam should hear it because it was great. You definitely gave us a great observation. So, listeners, this was the first meta episode of CommentSlam. We commented on our own video. We thought it'd be different. We thought it would be fun. So, if you enjoyed it, let us know. We'll do more stuff like this. If you'd like us to do meta episodes of CommentSlam, we will. So, Kendo, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm good.
Well, I say that nib-high football rules. But thanks, folks, for taking your time to watch this video. We'll be back later with World Class Bullshitters, where we review Thor Ragnarok. Also, one final thing before I close this episode out. If you're a patron, on November the 1st, you will have access to our first James Bond commentary. And if you're over on YouTube, you have to wait till the 007th of every month. But they're better on Patreon. There's music. There's all kinds of great things. So if you're a huge 007 fan, we have taken our first step into a larger world, Star Wars reference. No, we've taken our first step on the journey that is the James Bond saga. We will do all 24 official films, and we'll close out our journey with Bond 25, whatever it's going to be called. So you can't really miss it, because if you think we have good insight on Star Wars, it's nothing compared to that on James Bond. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
Stay fresh, homies.